impact. So then they're down at the bottom of the staircase. Excellent. And on the count of 1, that's the staircase relaxation deepener, it'll be called, in the CMT course notes that you've got. And then we say to them, now in your mind's eye, you just kind of imagine it's almost as if you're looking around, and in the distance of the world of your dreams and your imagination, you see a warm, comfy, inviting, fantastically magical looking bed that's calm, safe and secure. I always put in the calm, safe and secure bit because for all we know, this person might sleep on a rug on the floor because although they've come to us to stop smoking, they got raped on a bed and they will never get on a bed since. It's an extreme example, but I'm just saying by putting in calm, safe and secure, it avoids abreactions. So it's almost as if they can imagine what they like, they can imagine the rug they normally have if they want to. It's almost as if in the background you can see a warm, comfortable, inviting, magical bed. So imagine in your mind's eye right now walking towards that, and as you do, you become ever so much more sleepy. Looking forward to a wonderful, and yes I do talk like this, so it's yawny, believe me. I do that because then they do, and it promotes genuine sleep, which is what I want. And that's my outcome, desired outcome, because then they feel the magic. And imagine going up to that bed, getting into it, putting the covers over yourself in a way that feels calm, safe, secure, so warm and comfortable. Oh, drifting down. Imagine putting your head on the pillow, closing your eyes in your mind's eye and just go to sleep right now in the world of your dreams and imagination. That's fantastic. That's what we call the warm, comfy bed technique deepener in the course notes when you refer to it, but there is a full worded script for it so you don't have to make it up. And you start to dream now in your mind's eye. You feel calm, safe and secure. As you realise that in this dream it's almost as if you're in a classroom. But we said calm, safe and secure because people have bad childhood memories. This way it isn't going to cause an abreaction. It's almost as if you're in a classroom or a training room, but in a way that's calm, safe and secure, that feels right for you. And you can see a blackboard. If you want to be politically correct, use a whiteboard and a dry erase marker if you want. I don't. I use a blackboard with chalk. Shoot me for it if you think that's racist. It fucking isn't. We've got too politically correct. But you can always use a whiteboard and a dry erase marker metaphor if you want instead. But then you have to rewrite that part of the script. Could I use a blackboard and chalk? So imagine in your mind's eye that you see a blackboard in the classroom, and written on that you notice is a word, one word. And that word, the moment you look at it, you've got a sense of recognition. It's a sense of recognition that doesn't bother you, worry you or concern you as it would have done in the past. But it just reminds you of all those things that used to bother you, disassociation and future pacing, used to bother you in the past when X, Y, Z was an issue. You can fill in the blank. I'll tell you how to really refine this again in a minute before the end, but generally speaking, that is the school blackboard method where we then say, and you see one word and it represents all that self-blame, shame, guilt and regret connected to this. All those negative feelings, thoughts, memories and emotions that you kind of want to, they're not going to disappear. You will be able to remember them if you wanted to, but they won't affect you, bother you, worry you or concern you in the way they once did in the past. Just nod your head if you understand. Now, they'll either nod their head or they'll be snoring by now. Either's good. If they nod their head low, it means you need to hike the heating up a bit more and start really drawing out your words more to bore the fuckers to sleep. Now in your mind's eye, as you see that word, I don't need to know all the issues, but I do need to know what the word is. So on the count of 3, you'll be able to tell me what that one word is that you see on the board. 1, 2, 3, what's that word? And you might have to listen really carefully because they may say it, but really quietly. But you find out, you repeat it back to them, get them to nod their head. If they don't nod their heads, if they don't say a word, proceed as though you've heard something, and then you have to kind of go, well, that word you've just told me, see it on the blackboard, and imagine starting to rub it out one letter at a time. It's better if you know what the word is, if they're still awake, Personally, it's better if they don't end up telling you because they've gone to sleep and you can hear them snoring. I much prefer that. Then I would just continue with imagining your mind's eye. That, especially because if it's via Zoom, say, for example, the session could be being recorded and we don't want them to realise that they've just gone to sleep, weren't consciously aware of you saying stuff and that you stopped talking and surfed the internet for a while before waking them up. Which would work if they couldn't get any evidence that that happened. Which unfortunately they could if they were, you know, it might be your end you're recording to send to them, but for all you know they might have screen capture software running on their laptop to record the session without you knowing. So it's not worth the risk. In that context, you've got to actually carry on talking as though you're doing the session. I'm not saying that in the boot camp you'll ever see me doing any real life therapy sessions where once I know they're snoring, I just play a recording of the session to them. Not saying that at all, but it would work if you did. As long as they can't get evidence that that's what you've done. So, imagine in your mind's eye, erasing that. If they told you the word, you can say the word and you tell them that one by one from the end of the word. So if their word was spider, just because it's easier for an example, it won't be, but imagine rubbing out the final letter, R. It helps if you write it on a piece of paper in front of you and cross them out as you say it, so you don't have to mentally in your head think it yourself. Rub out the letter R with the chalkboard, you know, the blackboard wiper. And as you do, you notice you start to feel less of a connection that used to bother you, worry you or concern you in the past. And now take the letter E and you do each letter backwards, and you do it backwards so it seems weird, so it has an apparent importance connected to it. That's the school blackboard method. So arguably, if you do believe in deepening trances, I don't, but if you do, we've done a staircase deepener, we've done the warm comfy bed deepener, and we've done the almond blackboard word deepener. And if you believe in all that trance nonsense, by now they should be in pretty much an Esdale state where you could cut them open and stick needles through them. And yes, I have done that, and yes, you will see it in the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp on genuine people, in front of people, me sticking needles through the body, them not flinching, feeling a single thing. I don't suggest you do it because it's totally unnecessary. I just did it to prove it could be done, and would do again for the media, but it's not necessary with clients. Unless they used to have a fear of needles, and the total proof to them after the session is that without them feeling anything, you can put a needle through them, give them a photograph, and they feel fantastic about it. But if you did that, make sure you use sterilised needles, health and safety, perhaps involve a proper nurse, so that you're covering yourself legally, ethically, morally, safely, and all those things. You proceed at your own risk, as it were. So the school blackboard method's been done. They, if you believe in the trance stuff, are now fucking mega deep. They're not. They're actually snoring, 99% of them, if you've done this right and followed my script and delivered it in the right way. If you've used the right winky wanky music in the background, if you've hyped up the heating in the room, if you've used aromatherapy oils, if you've dimmed the light so it's only a candlelight or a very dim lamp, if you've covered their legs with a blanket, maybe one of the Association of Complete Mind Therapists branded blankets for your therapy office that you can get from Hypnotic-Consultants. That's Stuart Cassels. He's a member of the Stay at Home and Hypnotize group. You'll find his details in the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp as well. You'll also find him on hypnotic-consultants.co.uk, but in the group he has posted a link to the branded ACMT merchandise that you can get, so it further not just keeps their legs warm and stops you getting upskirt views, and helps promote them going to sleep, but it also builds up the prestige and credibility of everything being professional and stuff in your office. At this point, we then do the therapy because we've still got more time to kill. The forms of therapy used are the use of direct, positive and negative suggestions. A bit of common sense is used here, but effectively, this is telling somebody who's doing something they are currently doing that they don't want to do, that they will find it ridiculously easy to stop doing it and highly pleasurable to do other stuff instead. So it becomes painful to do it, pleasurable not to do it. If they are not doing something they want to do, you make it painful not to do it and pleasurable to do it. It's rewiring the pain and pleasure. I explained it more yesterday. That is what slots in there. That's how you can create your own positive or negative suggestions relevant to whatever issue they say they've got from A through to Z. If you want to personalise the script. There's no need to for reasons I'll explain, but if you feel personally yourself that you'd feel more confident using this structure, knowing that you made it even more personalised to the client, then there is the section where it's in the script, there's generalised negative and positive direct suggestions that you can tweak so that rather than talking in general terms and letting the client fill in the blank, you know they've come to stop smoking, for example, so you can throw in stuff like, you no longer need, won't crave or desire for cigarettes or tobacco in any way, shape or form. In fact, when you see the government health warning on a packet of cigarettes in your unconscious mind, it now reads, smoke, choke, death and disease. There's a whole bunch of examples in the scripts that are in the APHP original hypnosis course that I gave you bonus access to in the group yesterday. The one that I first started trading from in 1989. So impressed I bought the company. We then use aversion therapy, which is making something so positively disgusting that they don't want to do it. So obviously if they're doing something they want to stop, we've got to make it disgusting for them to, sorry, they're doing something they want to stop, so they want to give up drugs, for example. We've got to make it absolutely abhorrently disgusting on all levels for them to carry on doing it. If currently they avoid doing something like public speaking, but they want to because of the job benefits, say, we've got to make it abhorrently disgusting to remain the shy individual who avoids doing it and massively pleasurable to do it. And we use those techniques. There's non-specific techniques in the script that if you use as is scripted will work, and that is what I use 99.9% of the time recurring, because frankly I can't be arsed spending time personalising it for each client. I could do off the top of my head if I wanted, but I just can't be fucking arsed. And it still works. Then we use the pain and pleasure therapy principles told you about. It's really just more of an extension of aversion therapy. The more disgusting, obscene, graphically ridiculous the imagery is, the better it will work for reasons we've already explained. Then we use the TV set, get rid of the past visualization, where ultimately I tell the client, I want you to now imagine in your mind's eye that you look into the distance and you see a television set plugged into the wall and there's something playing. You can't quite see and hear it yet, so in your mind's eye, in a way that feels right for you, start walking towards it. And as you do, you start to realise and notice that on that screen is an image of yourself as you once were in the past, when you were smoking 40 cigarettes a day, or when you were taking 100 quid's worth of cocaine in an evening, or whatever. You fill in the blank with what's specific to them if you want to make it completely personalised to them. However, I've been clever enough to write the script so that it's worded in manners such as see an image of yourself on there as you once were in the past, with that bothered you, worried you and concerned you, that today you're leaving behind forever. This is a memory of what it used to be like in the past. And they know what they're there for, so they will visualise something that's relevant and make it 100% personal and specific to them without you having to do anything other than read the script I've supplied you with and honed over the best part of 30 years. So what ultimately happens is they imagine seeing an image of themselves getting closer to the telly, and we're saying, realise now in your mind's eye you no longer want any connections to these thoughts, memories, emotions or triggers, ideas or things that in the past used to bother you. So imagine in your mind's eye turning down the volume on the television so that the volume starts to fade until it's gone completely. And now in your mind's eye, imagine turning down the brightness so the image fades away until it goes so dark that it's gone completely. And in fact, turn down all the other dials so the image, the sound and everything you know has gone completely. Although you know that that television set still switched on. So I'd like you to imagine in your mind's eye in a way that just, feels right for you to switch it off. Yeah? Excellent. But it's still getting some kind of power because it's plugged into the wall. So, imagine unplugging it. Excellent. But we don't want anyone to ever be able to come along and plug it back in. Now trust me, the wording in the script is far better than this. I'm making it up as I go along now because I haven't got my script in front of me. When I've got a client, I use the script that I've given you. I promise you I do. The one that you will hear me using on the audio MP3 that I've also given you and on the video that I've given you in that package, because it's honed to precision. Whereas this, I'm just vamping it. And now in a way that feels right for you, so that nobody can ever come along and plug that thing in. Nobody can ever give it any negative energy ever again, so it can never bother you as it once did. Just imagine destroying that television set positively and permanently, and everything that it used to stand for. Maybe you want to take a chainsaw to it, slice it up, maybe you want to set it on fire, maybe you want to blow it up with dynamite. It doesn't matter how you do it, but whatever feels right for you, take a few moments to positively and permanently destroy that television set and all it ever stood for. And then just nod your head when you've done that. Now obviously if they're snoring, they won't nod their head, you just leave it a while and then carry on. But if they are in hypnosis rather than alleged delta state, they're in theta rather than delta, then they'll nod their head. But if they don't panic, just leave it a minute or two and go, excellent. And now that you've destroyed that television set positively and permanently, I'd like you to imagine, that's incidentally the TV set, get rid of the past visualization. I'd like you to imagine now in your mind's eye that you can see what is almost like a measuring stick, a ruler, but it's a bit of a funny measuring stick, a ruler. It's actually a little bit like a thermometer in so much as it's got the number 0 at the bottom and 100 at the top. And you realise as you walk closer to that in your mind's eye, again the script's far better than this, a million times better. I'm too lazy to learn it word for word. Why should I? Once the eyes are closed, I can read the script. And these days I don't even have to get it out of a briefcase. I can use free auto cue software that you can download, but free auto cue software or into the internet. Download a free piece of software and you can open the PDF in that and have it scroll on screen at a speed that's right for you, and you can control it so that you've got it in really big text, so it's dead easy to read. So it's silent as well, there's no rustling paper. Okay, so imagine that measuring stick, 0 at the bottom, 100 at the top, and as you get closer to it you realise this is a measuring stick of self-confidence, self-image, self-esteem and self-control, which as we know is also willpower, self-control, but we say these things because the unconscious knows what they are. Does this sound familiar with what we've been saying since the start about making them feel better? It's a measuring stick of self-image, self-esteem, self-control, and image, esteem, control, and confidence. Yes, those are the 4 foundations that lead to positive self-worth. And at the moment, you notice that unfortunately, they're not fully at 100%. We can say that with confidence because if they were, the person would be fully confident in life and not need a crutch or an issue. They wouldn't be scared of anything. They wouldn't be with us if they were at 100%. So we can confidently say that. So in your mind's eye, you notice that it's almost as if it's like a thermometer with mercury in. And the hotter that gets, the more it rises up. So we need this to be ideally at 100%, so that from this moment forward you've got 100% self-confidence, willpower, self-esteem, self-image that grows stronger each day and gives you all the inner resources you need within you, like a large inner reservoir of all the personal qualities that enable you to live life as the perfect you. But to do that we need to get that measuring stick to 100%, so in a way that feels right for you. I'd like to imagine heating up the mercury in that measuring stick. Maybe you use a blowtorch. Maybe you set a bonfire. Maybe you rub it with your hands. I don't know, whatever feels right for you, do it. And I want you to keep doing that and notice now it's going from kind of 20, 30 to 40%, 45, 50%. And the more you do it, the higher it raises. It does start to notice those feelings of confidence inside growing stronger and stronger. So as it gets closer to 60 and 70, it feels 10 times better than that time in your life when you gave birth to a baby and felt on top of the world. Or whatever other piece of information they put in their questionnaire. Yeah, I'll cover more about linking the questionnaire in shortly, because I've forgotten to do that prior to that bit, which is easy done when you haven't got your script in front of you, just bullet points. Great, that's brilliant. It's at 100% now, so in your mind's eye, in a way that feels right for you, you need to lock, glue or weld, cement, bolt, fix permanently and positively that at 100%. So your self-confidence, image, esteem and control can never fall below 100%. Maybe you'll use a staple gun, hammer and nail, screwdriver, the world's strongest super glue, I don't know, but whatever feels right for you. On the count of 1, when I count backwards from 3 down to 1 and click my fingers, I want you to lock it, bolt it, cement it, fix it, whatever feels right for you, in place, positively and permanently, right now. 3, 2, 1, boom! And I will make weird sound effects, because it's like the magic's happening. That's fantastic, and as that's now, you know it's positively and permanently locked in place. It can just fade off into your unconscious mind, so that every morning you can awaken with an inner one and bullshit and waffle like the script says. Just read the script. There's a section where if you want to, you can do some ad-lib therapy, 100% relevant to their issue. This is the point and you'll see that in the running order that I've given you. This is the point where I might sometimes say it was a PTSD case, a rape victim who suffered child abuse. I may use inner child therapy at this point, slot it into the CMT script, which ultimately in a nutshell is to get them to imagine in the mind's eye that in a few moments time I'm going to place what, if you had your eyes open now, you would know was just a cushion. But when I place that cushion onto your lap so you can reach it with your hands, in your mind's eye, in a way that feels right for you, I want you just to imagine in your mind's eye, the moment I place that cushion in your lap, that it's no longer a cushion. It's actually you, and it's you at the age of 6, 7, whatever information they've given in their questionnaire about when this nasty shit went on. And I go now, I'm going to place the cushion onto your lap in a few moments. Not yet, if you understand, fantastic. So you've got consent, you put the cushion down, and or you could have started off with the cushion at the side of them on the couch and instruct them there, or reach to the side of them and get the cushion. And you say, now imagine in your mind eye that you're giving a cuddle, a hug to you, the younger you, the 6-year-old you, or whatever age was relevant. And I want you to just take a few moments for yourself, for the benefit of the 6 or whatever year-old you, to tell the younger you exactly what you would have wanted to hear, what you needed to hear then. The things that would have made it easier to move forward. Because whilst you know now consciously in life that logically it shouldn't bother you, worry you or concern you in the ways it has been doing up until now, the trouble is your unconscious mind is like that little child, is like the little you at the age of 6, who still feels damaged, who feels a sense of blame or shame or guilt or regret, or maybe it's just that they feel alone, forgotten, unloved. So whatever needs to be said, whatever needs to be done, perhaps give them a cuddle, perhaps stroke their hair, tell them it's okay, young David, or obviously whatever the person's name is. When you grow up, you do survive, everything can be okay. And it can actually be even better if right now you just let go of everything. So would you please allow us both to be happier, and you go through a narrative, which if you want to go down that road, I do teach in far greater depth in the psychophysio-energetic alignment of changing energies and emotions package, and the mind changes set in the boot camp, where you'll actually see me working with high-end clients such as sexual abuse victims, drug addicts, alcoholics and stuff, and getting what appear miraculous results, but using these exact techniques. And then you can see how it pans out, because I haven't written a specific script for the inner child, because that's effectively the structure. You just use the information they've given you, and the metaphor is to get them to feel physically that you will see that they will hug that cushion. they will, if they've not got to snoring sleep point by this. And generally speaking, the clients that fall into this victim area that we've kind of referred to tend to still be awake at this point, because the little child won't trust anything, is on edge all the time. The computer program won't let them. But the moment you've done the inner child bit, when they're broken down lightly in tears, which I don't class as being an abreaction, because I class that as a natural reaction, a natural cathartic emotional release of letting go of all that self-blame, shame, guilt and regret they've been carrying around, and coming to a realisation that they no longer need it in their life because they're still here as an adult, and that the little them inside now can feel loved and paid attention to, and that it's alright to carry on. At that point then, quite often, if you repeat your staircase induction again, well, not induction, deepener as it were, after they've had a bit of time to cry and you pass them some tissues and stuff, they will very rapidly not only arguably become hypnotized, re-enter trance, if you want to think of it that way, but actually go into a genuine sleep, because the emotional energy drained out of them of releasing all that baggage will make them feel genuinely tired. So at the end of the session they will have had a bit of a kip, it just took a different route to get there, and when they wake up they'll feel they've experienced the magic wand of hypnosis we spoke about. So it's all got a good ethical intent at the end. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. If not, it'll make more sense when you see me go through it in the boot camp. But as I say, that's only for certain clients, and to be honest, I'll be honest with you, it's very rare I take on those type of clients now. You know why? Because it is emotionally gut-wrenching to read the stuff in their questionnaires, or to sit with them. You can feel it's massively beneficial to them, and it's massively rewarding when they've offloaded it, and at the end you can see like a physical difference in them, and their eyes are like lit up like diamonds, and you can tell they look like different people almost. But that's not for me. I don't want to spend my life every day doing that. Anyone who does decide to do that, hats off to you. I've done it with great success, but if you're going to do that, make sure you don't book in too many clients. Make sure you pay some attention to yourself. Otherwise you'll get therapist burnout because you're taking on everyone else's shit and some of the stuff. Yeah, you get the idea. I tend to focus on habits, addictions, fears, phobias, confidence issues, which ironically are also the things that there's far more easier work to attract and more money to be made from, as we'll talk about tomorrow. Then we repeat the pain and pleasure rewiring type metaphor, but the entire word is script for that. You know what the principle is, because I've already explained it to you numerous times, but the wording for doing that in a non-specific manner is in the script that I've given you access to. And if you want to make it specific, when you're talking about painful things, you relate it to the information they gave in the questionnaire. There's painful and negative. And when you're talking about pleasurable things, you relate it to the positive things in their questionnaire. Yeah? So, you know, you'd say it's almost as if when X, Y, Z occurs, you feel this, 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 and reel off, in their words, what they wrote down. Because it will have a genuine thoughts, feelings, memories and emotions attached to it that will give the pleasure more pleasure and the pain more pain energy. The next step is to anchor. Don't worry, we're going to overrun 5 or 10 minutes. I apologise for that, but I'll stick with you. We anchor great feelings, positive feelings. We stack anchors now, they call it in NLP. We tell them that in a few moments' time, I want them to think of that time in their life, and we take all the good stuff they've put down. And if there's not that much good stuff there, or we need more, we can use the phrase, it's almost as if. So it's almost as if, it's like you've just won the national lottery. It's almost as if you've achieved X, Y. You can make shit up, but you have to put almost as if in front. It's more powerful if you've got something they said genuinely happened in their life. I hope that makes sense, because it's already got linked memories, thoughts, feelings, emotions and positivity. That you can get them to visualise and press their finger and thumb together and go, just press your finger and thumb together. Well, it's almost as if, as you imagine in your mind's eye now, seeing a spider that once in the past would bother you, that in actual fact when you see the spider, you laugh so much like that time when you went to see your favourite comedian which is often a thing you can ask them if you want at the start of the session, who's the favourite comedian. Your favourite comedian, Lee Evans. And just press your finger and thumb together if you remember those times you laughed so much and you felt calm, relaxed and confident. Fantastic, and just let that go, release your finger and thumb. And now this time imagine that you see the spider that used to bother you or worry you, and not only do you start to smile and laugh because it instantly reminds you, pattern matching we spoke about, of your favourite comedian making you laugh so much, but it reminds you of that time you felt on top of the world and fantastic and invincible because you just passed your driving test. And notice how invincible you feel and completely calm and relaxed in that imagery of seeing a spider in the future. And you stack a load of things, maybe half a dozen, so when they press the finger and thumb together, they feel that in every nerve, fibre, tissue and muscle in their body, from the tips of the toes to the tips of the fingers, flooding the body in a positive, calm, safe and secure manner, like an invisible force field, shield of invulnerability that enables them to become the perfect them. And then we tell them that any time in the future, if ever they should have any, say it was weight loss, any cravings, all they would need to do is press the finger and thumb together. If it was alcohol or drugs, if you ever feel any thoughts or cravings, just press your finger and thumb together. Or whatever it is, you know, if you see a spider and for any reason you do have a sudden flicker, which you shouldn't, but if you did, press your finger and thumb together and you know that instantly flooded with all those positive thoughts, feelings, energies and emotions. Your invisible shield of invulnerabilities there, you feel fantastic, and it triggers off the anchored responses that have been anchored to genuine things that they've got genuine memories, thoughts, feelings and emotions of, thus they're more powerful to them. And the way the script's worded, Law, it is such that you don't need to add in what they've said in their questionnaire if you don't want to. You can just read the script, and there's bits where it says, imagine a time in your life when X, Y, Z. It's a bit descriptive and it leaves them to fill in the blank for themselves, so they'll still make it completely personal feeling to them and specific and tailor-made for them in a way that's right for them and only them, with the way I worded the script. So this is beyond so-called scriptnosis. This is a personal tailored session each and every time, even when all you do is read the script, which other scriptnosis doesn't offer. We then use the major post-hypnotic suggestion that from this moment forward they'll awaken each morning with an inner warm glow of confidence, a renewed optimism to life, a more positive attitude to get things done. They'll find that in every breath they take, every noise they hear, every thought they think and every stimulus from everyday life, even ones that in the past would have been deemed stressful or scary, will actually serve as a sign and a signal to help them be completely calm, relaxed and in control in all positive ways, feeling really good inside. That they'll have an overwhelming desire every day for the next 28 days, just before they go to bed at night, to play the audio MP3 track that you will give them, that I will give you. And you will play that in the manner I will explain to you afterwards, so that you can just continue to go to sleep and wake up in the morning like your batteries of positivity have been charged. That's basically, and it will be 100 times more effective than if I was there with you in the room. So that means that when we give them the backup audio MP3 and they listen to it every day for the next 28 days, the lunar cycle, I've already spoke about that and the power of it, that is like they're actually not just having one session with you, they're having another 28 sessions with you. So actually you're arguably giving them 29 sessions, it's just it only takes up an hour to an hour and a half maximum of your physical time. And that's why complete mind therapy, when it's done right, is so successful, because actually they're getting 29 sessions. Arguably. But they don't perceive it that way. Because obviously the whole advertising is, I'm so confident and good at what I do, I cure you in an hour. Well, you can't say cured, but you know, I obliterate those things that once bothered you in an hour. And as you'll know when you listen to the audio MP3, the script I've written and known to perfection, if you deliver it with the same voice tones and at the speed that I do, which is all very important, then it will take you roughly between 49 to 53 minutes to deliver. That leaves you 7 minutes to find out their name and what their family normally call them. And then you do maybe your bookend 0 to 10 thing at the beginning and eyes follow thumb. In total, that's an hour and 10 of therapeutic action. 5 minutes to get any more money that's required. By the time you've got them out and you have a bit of a wind down, it's certainly an hour and a half of your time, although I wouldn't book another client in straight away. Why would you when you're charging a top fee? The less clients you see, the better. Just make sure they're paying enough, that you're living the lifestyle you want to. The less clients you see, the better you are as a therapist. Because A, you're charging more, making more money. You don't have to take on the shit clients, so your success rate's increased. Your social proof gets increased. Your prestige and everything else that makes it work increases. And also it means that you give. Your attitude, your feeling is better. It's better when you don't have to see client after client after client to pay the bills. It's better when you are charging enough so that you are in that elite 5% of the hypnotic industry that in this crisis that we're in, this COVID crisis, loads of people, they're just starting to get to grips with online sessions, which I'll talk about tomorrow. But even then, they don't know how to market them properly, so they're struggling. They're making less than they were before when they couldn't afford to eat properly. Most people spend 40 years of their working life working at least 40 hours of the week and then retire on about 40% of the income they couldn't afford to live on in the first place, and that's not living. Living is financial freedom. Living is being able to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, wherever you want, without incurring a single penny in debt, as long as you're not breaking any laws. Obviously, there's certain contextual issues at the moment with the COVID coronavirus thing. And I don't wish to brag, but I am going to do. I'm not giving a shit about this whole lockdown. If I don't do any work, any more shows ever again, don't matter. If I never see another therapy client on Zoom or in person ever again, doesn't matter. If this was the last seminar I ever did online, it wouldn't matter. Because my multiple streams of passive income are set up so well that I earn more doing fuck all while I'm asleep at night than most therapists will ever dream of doing, unless they get off their arse and start learning about the important things: marketing, advertising, publicity and promotion, and creating multiple streams of passive income, which I will talk about tomorrow, but which I massively expanded on in the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp with complete blueprints, my millionaire plan in there. Well, let's just say it's exactly how I bought my own home outright for cash before I was 30. It tells you exactly how I did it, and you can do it if you follow a formula that works. As long as you do it right, it will continue to work. The problem is that people that start to tweak things, take them away and think, I'll be clever and I'll add this to it. Done. If you take a complete mind therapy script and tweak a single word of it, other than the examples I've given you where it's designed to be done that way, the chances are it won't work for you as often as it will, which is pretty much 100% of the time, if you use it as per the script that I've given you, in the manner that it's written, using the voice tones and speed of delivery that you'll hear me using on the audio MP3 that I've given you, so you can print out the script, listen to the audio and read the script at the same time, so you can learn when your voice has to slow down, when it has to speed up because of excitement and empowerment, or when it has to drag out because they're going deeper and deeper to sleep. You can learn by reading the script and listening to the audio at the same time. That's why I've given you them. There's another reason as well. And if you want to be lazy, you can always use the audio MP3 that I've given you. And at the end of the session, when you give the post-hypnotic, you can say, each day you'll have an overwhelming desire to listen to the audio MP3 that I give you. And you will hear upon it the sound of my colleague, Jonathan Royle. And each and every time you hear it, it will be 100 times as effective as if I was there with you in the room. If you can't be arsed recording the script yourself, by all means, use the MP3 I've given you. As long as you tell them in the post-hypnotic it's going to be as good as if you were there, it will be. I know people that are still doing that to this day because they're that fucking lazy. They can't get the free Audacity software, sit there after they've listened to my recording and learn the speed at which to deliver it, and then record it themselves. and overlay it over some copyright-free music. Plenty of which is inside the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp. But you could do that. And then you awaken them from trance, arguably. And you say to them, in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 10. On the count of 10, and then only then you'll instantly be wide awake. If they're hypnotised, they will open their eyes on the count of 10. If they're not, when you get to the count of 10, you may have to repeat it and shout a bit. Wakey, wakey, rise and shine, you're back in the room. Clap your hands a bit. So that they come round and it's as though you're reacting as though they were in a really deep state of hypnosis. So you frame it that way so they believe it. Sometimes they'll go, oh, I think I went to sleep. And you go, no, don't worry. You didn't. It just seems a lot like sleep when you're deeply, deeply, deeply hypnotised. I play with the misconceptions because it gets a better end result. They feel they've had the magic wand. It gives them the excuse, the permission to leave it all behind. So that is the structure of the complete mind therapy session. As for the wording, it's in the script. There are places you can personalise it, yes. So when you're doing the pain and pleasure, use your common sense, you refer to the stuff that's in here. And maybe when you're saying to them, you know, now imagine in your mind's eye on the television set, an image of yourself in the past. You might go see an image of yourself in the past when this issue that used to bother you began when you were 23 years old. Now, they've never told you they were 23, but you've taken their date of birth answer and the answer to the fact of how many years they've had the issue, and you do the maths and you work it out and you know roughly what it is, and you say you were around roughly this age. Imagine it in your mind's eye. And part of their conscious mind, if it's still at that point got any involvement, it probably won't have, but it's going to go, what the fuck's going on? I never told them that. Causes sensory overload, confusion, disorientation, particularly with rapid induction techniques, but generally as well, is a great way of critical faculty bypass. So yeah, in terms of complete mind therapy, tomorrow, we have overrun, tomorrow I will teach you first of all complete unconscious reprogramming of emotional disease and distress, cured, which means then you can save yourself ever having to spend a fortune on any of these idiomotor response unconscious communication courses, because you're now to do all of them and now to do them better than the people who are teaching them for a fucking ridiculous amount of money, frankly, now. We will show you how to create multiple streams of passive income and how to link it all together with effective marketing, advertising, publicity and promotion to get clients who are in the right frame of mind. We'll cover insurance, diplomas, ab reactions and health and safety. Or ab reactions briefly, effectively, if somebody does start crying or shaking or shivering, you immediately address the issue and say, just to let that image that was bothering you right then, implying that it's already passing, that was implying it was in the past, that was bothering you right then, fade away even more, implying it's already fading away. Fade away even more in a way that feels right for you, so you can come back to the here and now and feel calm, safe and secure. And just tell me when you've done that and you feel completely calm, and just give them a bit of time. They're not going to die. Not unless they have a heart attack or something, and that's nothing to do with hypnosis, but that is why I do recommend that all hypnotherapists and stage hypnotists should at the very least do a first aid at work, that's the UK regulations, first aid at work level first aid course, so that they would know what to do if somebody blacked out, passed out, had a heart attack, first aid wise, prior to getting proper professional medical attention there. Obviously it'd be a bit difficult to administer any of that over Zoom. I'm talking about physical events here with online events. Again, you would already know where they lived. You'd want all their contact details still, even though you're not physically going to them or them coming to you, so that if in any event anything was to occur, you can always call authorities in their local area to have assistance sent to them. It's highly unlikely to occur, but you've got to plan for the potential worst. That's part of health and safety. In terms of health and safety for therapy, the gastric band hypnotherapy package and the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp, although it's about the gastric band hypnosis approach, that's not the benefit of it. The benefit is Dr. Wilf Archer, who is the most highly qualified, the only therapist I know with 2 Royal Charters for health and safety related expertise, and he's put together a package exclusive to the bootcamp or the gastric band, basically exclusive to me. And he was the health and safety advisor to the General Hypnotherapy Register, or was it the National Council of Hypnotherapy? No, it was the General Hypnotherapy Register, till he retired. But he didn't even give them this package. This is the most comprehensive health and safety training for therapists, and also in the bootcamp is the most high-level safety training for stage and street hypnotists that anyone in the world's ever produced by myself and a whole bunch of other people, including Stuart Harrison Cassells, who's on this call right now, who hopefully, if he's kind enough, tomorrow will be speaking to you towards the middle of the second session a little bit about a proven website marketing plan that can position you as the authority figure in your niches and bring you more clients than perhaps you ever dreamed possible, without paying fortunes for all this Google AdWord nonsense and stuff. No, I live in a world where the less you spend, but the more you can make. Both of them are important, because when you can make far more profits by spending less, as long as what you're spending just a little bit on is producing a result. If you spend £1 on advertising, you want it to produce £10 profit. If you're not getting at least £10 profit for every pound you spend, you're doing it fucking wrong. I'm going to show you ways of marketing tomorrow that cost nothing except a little bit of your time, but not a lot of it. And in fact, you can outsource a lot of it on autopilot and pay Wing Wang Chong. I don't know if that's what he's called, and I'm sorry if there's anyone here from China, but he'll probably tell me on the call centre call when I'm booking his services that his name's Richard. But Mr. Wing Wang Chong, or whatever he's called, that I've got through Fiverr.com or peopleperhour.com or similar websites, may for, you know, $5, about £4 UK sterling, it's not even close to national minimum wage, do all the boring stuff that, other than that, you know, that just costs time, not money. But if we fork out, say, $40 a week to get him to do 10 hours work, it's only cost us, in that example, about £40 sterling, $50. And if we're charging even just £250 sterling for a client, we only need one client to be £200 in profit. However, if you've got him doing what I'm going to teach you for 10 hours, and he's genuinely doing it, and you'll know that by the results you're getting, you should be getting at least a client per hour's work input he does, which means you should be getting at least 10 lots of 250 quid, £2.5 grand. And you're still only paying out 40 quid or $50. Ooh. Does that sound more like the kind of return on investment you should be getting for your advertising? Yes. Then be aware of this. You have to start being something of a cunt. I don't mean in everyday life to people, but you have to start being something of a cunt in the sense of not giving a shit what other therapists think about you. They're the biggest thing that will hold you back. Don't give a shit what other stage hypnotists think about you if stage is your area. The biggest thing that stops therapists or stage hypnotists being truly successful, achieving their full potential, is believing that other therapists might be doing better than them. You know what? Maybe. Some of them probably will be. Who gives a shit? Don't dwell on it. But the fact is, the majority of them are Billy bullshitters, including some of the famous names. I once got asked, why do I no longer have a limited company? Okay, which is that'd be a PLC not PLC, an incorporated company in America. In England, it's a limited company. Why do I not have one if I'm so successful? Because people can check out that I did, but I shut it down. You know why? Because it's too easy for people to find out what you are earning or what you're not earning, and where you are putting your assets if you've got a limited company, certainly in England. You can type in the limited company name and go on beta.company's house in England and see people's financial accounts for their limited company. It shows you the profit, loss, what assets they have, what they don't. And you know what, when you do that with certain television hypnotists, life coaches and transformational, motivational people, in England at least, with Company's House, let's just say Some people do not own all the flash cars they purport to have. Some of them, are more leased, so they're tax deductible, company expense and things. There's ways of looking successful that aren't. So don't be misled by the shininess of what people are apparently making. We live in a brave new world. And unfortunately, I don't mean that in an Aldous Huxley kind of way, although we are moving into what he put in his book and what George Orwell did in 1984 in some scaring fashions. And you need to be aware of that so that when shit like this happens, you've got your multiple streams of passive income in place. And you're ready to do online sessions like we'll give you the keys to tomorrow, and how to do group sessions as well. But it's a brave new world in so much as there was a time when to really be making the money in this industry, you had to be the guy who'd signed a book deal with Random House, let's say, as a random publishing company, to get your book out on the shelves and to break into getting on TV, to get your name known, so you could sell your multiple streams of passive income, merchandise and products. The world's so much different now because of the internet. And because companies like Amazon enable you to self-publish your own books with no investment up front. You can have your book on sale on all major book sites in the world, where they'll actually advertise it in such a way that it gets sold because it's in their interest to sell it because they make a profit out of it, but only when it sells, where you make money every time the book sells. And let me tell you, each time the book sells, you will actually make more money per copy than people like Paul McKenna make from each copy of the books they sell. Now, admittedly, Paul's an enigma in the sense he's sold multi-millions of books. But some of the so-called famous self-help authors that aren't quite Paul's the biggest selling British self-help non-fiction author in England. But there's a lot of them that appear mega successful and they're selling a lot of books, but they may be getting pennies per copy profit after all the taxes and costs. Whereas when you self-publish, you could be making £2, £3, £4 from each book that's sold for like £8 or £9. You could make double, triple, quadruple what you would through a proper publishing house in this day and age. And I'm going to talk to you tomorrow about how to create those multiple streams of passive income so you can get started, create some income streams. As I say, we will also cover cured, group sessions, marketing, safety stuff. Hopefully we'll get Stuart to explain his website thing. And yeah, I'll be here about 20 to 8 again. Early, ready for 8 o'clock start tomorrow for day 4. Videos of today will be in the group by about 2 o'clock United Kingdom time tomorrow. And any questions, as I always say, please put them in the group and I'll answer them either tomorrow live or in the group. I reiterate again, the bootcamp's 197 United Kingdom sterling until midnight on Wednesday. Then you'll never get that chance again. It is normally $5,000, that's not bullshit. People are in the group. Jerome Johnson will tell you I know. And I know Keith Anthony Taylor will tell you that it's not bullshit for me to say that in that boot camp to buy everything individually would cost you over $10,000. And actually you would be getting good value for money then anyway. Because you would learn, you'd learn more than you would off anyone on the planet, even if you went and spent £1 million with them. But the beautiful thing is, you don't have to. £197 sterling till midnight on Wednesday. Because I want you to succeed. I'm being selfish here, to be selfless. Because you get a boot camp at a ridiculous knockdown price during this crisis. You go away, you implement some of the stuff from this course, and also from the boot camp maybe, yeah? You get really successful. When somebody comes and asks you how you got that successful, I know a large percentage of you will say, you know what? What really made the difference was stuff from the Elite Hypnosis Bootcamp or training with Jonathan Royal. And that will just help me sell even more courses. And how much work will I have to do for that? Nothing! Because it's all set up on autopilot. People will just go to a website, enter their PayPal or bank details, and suddenly I'll be several £100 or thousands of dollars, because they won't get the discount, richer. And you know what? So will you, because tomorrow I'll tell you how you can also be earning 50% commissions on any sales of the bootcamp that you generate for me in the future once you become a member. I'll leave you with that thought. As I say, I'll be in the group in about 10 minutes or so when I've got my pyjamas on, gone downstairs and got another nice cold drink. Feedback on today and the past couple of days would be appreciated in the group. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. Thank you very much indeed. See you all tomorrow. Bye for now.